All right, testing 1, 2, 3. It looks like we are on, and I will send the link out. Ta-da! All right. Shared publicly. I want to delete that post. I want to go to my own YouTube channel. We'll start bringing some people in here soon. All right. Tim, how are you? Hi, Tim. Invite Timothy Neufeld. Invite sent. For Tim, 2 active viewers, 1 participant. And there comes Tim on the screen. It is working. I gotta go close this over here. To test. Oh, it's not. It's actually not doing that. That's good. Wonderful. Oh, no, it is doing it. I want to delete that. All right. Refresh. Hopefully that got deleted. Ross. Hello, Ross. Invite. Send Ross an invite. Create a poll. Okay. Try again with Tim invite. Ross, can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Peace. I can see and hear you too. And we're trying to get Tim on as well. So hopefully he'll pop up. You can see the little boxes down the bottom, right?
Yeah, hold on 1 second.
I'm trying to join.
There he is.
I think I did join that time. Okay. Everything froze up the first time. Here we go. Hi, Russ.
Okay, now it's working for me.
Fantastic.
You guys hearing me?
Yep, hear you great. Loud and clear.
Good.
Ross, I see Lizeth there as well.
Yeah, I saw Russ.
Lizeth, do you have a camera? Do you want to be invited into the video chat, or are you just going to participate since you just woke up? Things are 20 seconds behind, so I ask a question, Lizette's not going to hear it for 20 seconds. All right, I'm going to send the link out since it's 7:05.
Do we have any kind of a plan?
No, of course not.
Okay, that's fine with me. If I got a lot of junk here.
I already created one poll question, by the way. If you guys see the little tab over there on the right.
All right. I saw something earlier. Where did that go? What does the 4 on the comments mean? Okay, that's the 4 comments we've already. Lizeth is there. There's the polls. Regular song or snippet? Should Zero be listed as a snippet or a regular song?
Is this?
It's a good question. Save it for the. Save it for the broadcast.
Hey Tim, can you hear me?
Yeah, Ross, I hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Are you allowed to have the crystal ballroom lights going while we're doing this?
Good question. I don't know.
Isn't that copyrighted?
It's branding, man. It's personal branding. Like I'm the last person in the world to do personal branding. But, yeah. That's funny.
All right, I'm sending some tweets out so people can.
Nice. Oh, I'll do that too. I'll go on.
Ross and I will have a debate. We'll all discuss. Well, now that since it's not just Ross and I, we'll all discuss whether that should be a snippet or a full song. Since Ross was our set list guy today and has been our set list guy for much of the first leg.
Yeah. So it's a debate already.
Yeah, we're gonna have a debate.
Well, I keep getting a black box.
For yourself or for whoever's talking?
It's covering the whole screen at the moment. I think it's when I have the chat. When I turn the chat off, it goes away. Sorry.
Do you have one of our images on the bottom clicked
Yeah,
on?
I got both of you on the bottom.
But is one of them clicked on, like does it have a frame around it, like it's permanent? What
No.
we learned, okay. So what, So in the view screen, the large screen, you just have black?
Well, now it's working now. When maybe it's just like a glitch on the internet or something. It's working now.
Okay, yeah, it's probably something.
See what happens.
All right, let me see if I see your tweet, Matt. And let's get that going. So, now Matt, you're going to keep an eye on the chat.
Yeah, I'll do my best. We can all kind of
Probably
check
all
in over there. I see. I'm posting to Facebook right now just so we get just to let people know that what we're doing. So we'll get started. Quote formally here real soon. I see that we have a bunch of viewers already, 20 active viewers. So wow.
I see 7. Where do you see?
Yeah, where do you see that? I don't see that.
I see 20 active viewers, 7 participants. So
Oh, okay. No, I see 7. And okay, I got the 7. Now 8.
now 8.
Where is the? So we're talking about these people now, and behind their back, in front of their face, because they're listening.
They
right?
can hear us. Yes, they can hear us.
Hi.
Oh, hold on. I see other folks.
That's funny. Maybe we can't see that number. You probably can.
Maybe it's just me.
Yeah, I don't see anything.
I see JV.
So if we want to invite them, where is the link? Sorry, guys, we're just trying to figure this out right here.
I'm the only one. I'm the only one that can invite.
Into the video window, right?
Yeah. I'm the only one that can invite into the video window.
But we can invite anybody we want into
Yeah. So, hi, Sherry.
Hi, how's
hi,
everything
Sherry.
going?
So it's going well. So Tim, yeah. So you give out the link that I tweeted. Give that out. People can just simply watch if they
Got
want.
it. 4 minutes ago. Yep.
Yeah, they can just watch if they want. But if they connect, it'll ask them if they want to sign in. They can connect with their Twitter, Facebook, or Google accounts, and if they do that, then they can join the chat. They can vote in the polls. They can ask questions, chat with other fans, and all that sort of stuff. So it's
That's really nice, Sherry. I'm liking.
Yeah, you can't be the only one with a disco ball going,
I
buddy.
wish I would have taken one of those home with me secretly and subversively.
Sherry,
Tim,
Sherry,
Sally. John Bigwave is here.
Hey, Big Wave,
Mr. John, how are you?
we missed you earlier, brother. All right, let's see here. I am retweeting.
All right, I'm going to Facebook, and then we'll get started here in just a moment.
Part of what's happening for anybody who's listening in at this point, looks like there's 12 active participants in the chat already, is we're just setting up a few more details, and then we'll have some conversation going here. Right now, Sherry's going to entertain you.
Sherry, what shirt are you wearing? Where's that from?
This is from Zooropa '93. This is when the album first came out. I bought this in Glasgow, and they had a whole slew of different merchandise. So every so often, I'll put this one on.
That's fantastic. Love it, love it, love it, love it.
One
Steven
time,
and
one
Kim,
time,
Sally are in the chat.
one time when I went to the grocery store, somebody tried to scan me, but I came up priceless.
Did they literally tried to?
Yeah. Yeah, they were curious to see what would pop up.
Price check on aisle Sherry. Oh, too funny. Okay, so for those that, so from what I understand, first, welcome to everybody. My name is Matt. I don't know, can viewers see? Can they see the names down the bottom like you and I and those of us doing the chat can see it? I don't know.
Ask them.
Can you guys see who's chatting? Like I see Ross in the blue shirt, then Sherry in the white shirt, Tim in a gray shirt, and then me. And we invited Lizeth, but I don't see Lizeth.
has anybody chatted anything yet? Because I'm not seeing any chat.
Yeah, there's lots of chat going on.
Oh, really? I'm not seeing it. Oh, maybe we have to click on
Yeah, you have to click on the little chat bubble,
the bubble,
and then it forces you to have to log in.
There's Charlotte and Heather and JV. And nice. Got it. Hi, Kim.
So Stephen and Kelly say yes, they can see who's who, so that's cool.
Cool. Good deal.
All right. All right, so
John's got a question. Do you need to be logged in to a particular app to join in the video chat? You want to explain that one, Matt?
Yeah, I'm the only one since I started the video chat. So there's 3 levels here. Anybody that has the URL can just watch, and there's no commitment. You don't need a video camera or anything like that. If when you get to the URL, I think like a window pops up or something that says, do you want to log in or connect your accounts or something like that, and you can use your Twitter, Facebook, or Google Plus accounts to log in and connect, and that gives you access to take part in the chat. So those of you that are already chatting have already done that much. You've connected accounts and all that sort of stuff. So once you connect an account and log in, you can do the chat. There's a little, over on the right side, you should see a tab that says Q&A. You can ask questions. There's polls. I already started one poll. Should Zooropa from today's concert be listed as a snippet or a regular song? That's something Ross and I were discussing earlier online with some of the other folks on Twitter. And so that's what gives you access. Once you log in and connect your accounts, then you get access to do the chat, the Q&A, and the polls. And then the third level of access is to actually join in the video chat and be on camera and all that sort of stuff. And that is something that I control.
Hey, and then Sherry, every time you're walking around like that. This you probably I don't know if you know this is happening. And if you bump something, you get to come on the screen.
Yeah, unfortunately, I had a barking dog that I had to send outside. So I hope not to have to get up too much.
Oh, no problem.
Gotcha. All right, so look at that. There you go. So Beth says that she doesn't think a window pops up, but you can click on the logo to the left of the screen. Okay, so that's how it works. See, we're figuring this out as we go. That's cool. Lizeth, I don't even see you. Are you on?
Yeah, she's in the chat.
She's on video too, but I don't see.
Yeah, there's a mysterious black box between me and Ross.
Oh, there is. It's really dark.
She needs better lighting.
Oh no, she is there. It's just so dark we can't see her.
Oh my gosh, yes. Lizeth.
Oh, there she is. Now I see an outline.
You need to turn a light on.
So let it go out, Lizeth.
Oh.
Okay, so I'm watching on the Google feed that everybody else is watching, and right now I bet it's close to 2 minutes behind what we're actually saying. It's pretty out there. Yeah.
And the folks that are, as long as the folks that are in the chat and doing that stuff, they only seem to be about 30 seconds behind, so that's cool.
Right. So actually, folks, we're 2 minutes older right now by the time you hear this. It's a little bit like light traveling from the sun. You know, it takes 8 minutes. So I see Lizette. She's trying to talk. She's singing now, I can tell.
Yeah.
I can't hear her. I'm sorry, there must be audio problems.
Lizeth, we can't see. We can hardly see you. Lizeth is literally in her pajamas.
Well, she should be. It's so late over there.
It is. It's like 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. where Lizeth is.
I mean, the fact that you've got Big Wave on, I mean, that man doesn't sleep.
He's crazy.
All right. All right, so should we get started? Let's talk about today's show. I don't even know where to start. It was, I'll tell you, for me, that whole second set just sort of, I mean, the first set was very much like what we had here in North America, which I don't think was a surprise at all. When we did the podcast a couple weeks ago with Navid from u2tour.de and Aaron Govern from our own staff, it was sort of our preview of the European tour. The sort of consensus was that the whole first half of the show was not going to change at all. Navid from u2tour.de, he even nailed it. I remember he said specifically it's not going to change through the first two songs out on the E stage. They'll do Invisible and then Even Better and Mysterious Ways, and that whole first, 13 songs are just going to be exactly the same, and that's exactly what it was, and then it just sort of kind of took off from there, at least for me, when they sort of changed. Well, October, I guess, is when the new thing started. Sherry, you were doing the tweeting today.
Yes. The Mixlr streams were excellent, and that was the primary source of all of my information. I was bouncing back and forth between Periscope feeds. But when we got to October, and all of a sudden we started seeing the U2IE tour hashtag saying that there's different visuals, and even listening in on the feed and hearing the extended piano of October, that was when you sort of knew something different was afoot. It also helped that somebody circulated a preview copy of the set list.
Right.
So that was helpful.
And by the way, if anybody just heard the buzz there, that means that one of our participants is getting buzzed on their phone is vibrating, I believe. Is that what I heard?
Somebody did.
Somebody did. So let's talk. So things started to. Tim, you and I chatted about this in the ballroom last 4 days ago. Was it? Yeah, 4 days ago. And there's been lots of chat about how would it differ from North America to Europe. And Bullet the Blue Sky is when it started to get different, right? That's when different visuals. Sherry, you tweeted some pictures. And if I heard correctly, I think even some of Bono's sort of sing/rant at the end. I think he had some different wording in there as well. Was that right?
Absolutely. The Periscope stream that I was able to see, I didn't happen to catch if it had the unfuck Greece stuff in it, but it definitely looked like there was much more video that looked like it came out of Hungary with the people who were being stuck on the trains. You had the riot police. They were definitely using bullet to highlight the refugee issue going on. So I think that's going to be the heartbeat of the European leg is that whole humanitarian crisis that's going on. I don't think that the Greek economy is going to take as much of a spotlight on this tour. I think it's going to be all about the humanitarian stuff going on. And even U2 Community changed their Twitter header to show the picture of the Stephen Hawking video with the hashtag refugees welcome, and then there was a logo on there for the One campaign and a logo on there for Amnesty International. So that's going to be the heartbeat of the tour in Europe.
So I'm doing some screen sharing right now. You, Sherry, tweeted out the riot police, which was part of the Bullet the Blue Sky thing. Mark Peterborough.
Oh, those
Twitter,
visuals were gut-wrenching.
He was fantastic. He tweeted out some of the just really there's the refugees welcome hashtag that showed up. That was what? That was right before. That was during the intro to City of Blinding Lights, right?
Right. That it's showing images of just the world. You know, that if it's that if we are citizens of the world, we should be welcoming to everybody.
And then there was some video during October that I think everybody should be seeing right now, which I asked via the @U2 account if anybody could recognize what that was, and somebody replied that it looked like Syria. I thought it might be Sarajevo. Who knows? But I mean, it's obviously a city that's just been decimated. So who knows what it is? And Mark, as you can see, he said on Twitter, the fact that they have a video now for October makes you think that it's going to be every night. But I think really at least for me, like the most powerful and heartbreaking picture was that one there, the Bullet the Blue Sky. It looks like the EU, you know, the 13, I think it's 13 stars from the EU flag, but that's actually, you know, bodies floating in the water, and it's a Banksy, the artist Banksy. It's an image that he did and has spread around within the last 4 or 5 days, and just really, really powerful. So they came out, you know, on day one and, you know, concert one, and just were, you know, hitting people over the head with this message and this, you know, just real strong call for help, I guess would be the simplest way to put it.
You also figure they've got all of the additional media coverage there because it is the kickoff of the tour. So I think that they wanted to send a very bold and strong message. But that said, I think Bono was rather muted in what he wanted to say. I think night 2 he may go a little more crazy with it.
Yeah, one of the things you mentioned the rant too, Matt. One of the things I picked up on is I think we're going to have to hear it some more, but I think it's still primarily a conversation with young Bono to old Bono. And so, you know, when he's got the bullet horn, he's kind of yelling at himself. One of the things he said tonight was really interesting. He shouted a couple times, "I don't want you here. I don't want you here. You're part of the problem, not the solution." And that was a different twist on the rant, and it could be taken a couple of ways. It could be you know, refugees you know, kind of yelling at those governments who aren't letting them in, or it could be governments yelling at refugees. But I still interpret it as young Bono yelling at old Bono, "I don't want you here. You're part of the problem, not the solution." You know, kind of this. He didn't go into the whole Davos thing tonight, did he? And it's winter, and I get off in Davos, and you know, that kind of thing. He's got a bit different of a rant going in Bullet, but I still think the foundation of it is talking, you know, young Bono talking to old Bono over the barricade kind of a thing as well.
Yeah, I didn't hear the Davos stuff. Did anybody else hear that?
No, I didn't.
I don't think it was there.
I don't think so.
Let me do one more quick screenshot thing, because in the comments, Anisha just said that she wrote YouTube Gabriel Kayam's, or I'm not sure how to pronounce that, drone footage. So I can do a screenshot here and show what that link is, and that's right there.
I see it.
Start screen share, present to everyone. There you go. So he writes on Facebook, he says, the YouTube ban starts today to make the projections of my drone footage that I did in Kobani, which is, I just looked it up, it's a city in Syria.
Wow.
Another perspective to show the reality of the thousands affected by war. And that's what the issue is about. This is a civil war in Syria that's been going on for 3-4 years, I think, and people have been displaced, this whole time, and it's just now within the last week or so, I guess, really come to our attention maybe more than it has in the past.
Well,
The New York Times did a great in-depth story, which I had linked to in the @U2 Twitter feed earlier this evening during, I think it might have been Pride. That goes into a lot of detail on that, if anybody wanted to read up on it.
Yeah, and then Stephen's in our chat right now. You're making some great points, Stephen, because I've been following the immensity of the refugee crisis. I mean, you've got it happening on so many different fronts. You've got kind of Afghanistan and Syria traveling through Greece, and that's been hundreds of thousands of people, literally. And then you have North Africans coming up from Libya into Italy and Sicily, and they've had 100,000 people in 6 months. And then you've got Algiers going up into Spain. So all of these countries that are just war-torn, like the drone video going through Syria. Syria is just one of the countries that's having so many problems these days, and such great population shifts, and they all tend to come up into Europe now. And the goal is, as I understand it, the goal is to really try to get into Germany. I mean, that's the goal. That's the America of Europe right now. In fact, it would be a little bit trite for Bono to say Germany's more than a country, it's an idea, because that's too close to what he was doing in America. But that's the sense of what's happening as well. Trying to get into Germany, trying to get up into the Netherlands, because there's more prosperity there, there's more jobs there. And Germany just announced just a couple of hours ago, along with Austria, that they're willing to take these refugees now. And this morning there were 1,000 people walking from Budapest, Hungary to Berlin. And that's 300 miles. I mean, that's from San Francisco to Los Angeles in California, where I live. And that's just a massive expedition of people with little children and no food and no fresh clothes. And I hope that somebody's going to pick those people up on the road and help them out, because Hungary's not going to do it. Hungary is so inept right now that they just have no clue as to what to do. Italy is talking about closing borders as well. So that's one of the key messages that was going on tonight. That's the subtext, I think, is there was pressure with all that media there on Italy to not close that border. Stephen, do you live out there? Are you somewhere over there? Stephen's saying 800,000 people headed for Germany or moving into Germany. So he's in our chat, and he seems to have some fresh information from being on the ground there, I believe. Yeah, Ireland's not taking many. England's really making a stink about it. Italy's talking about closing borders. So some countries are doing much better than others, and U2 is pretty aware of this. They're insightful about. They keep in touch, I think. So those are just some of the things that I noticed from today. There's a lot more there too.
So one of the things, let me see if I can't figure out how to do this, and I'll turn the volume up. He also Bono changed the lyrics in Pride, right? He referenced that and I think Stephen or someone, Anisha, was mentioning in the chat that photo that just spread within the last couple days, that, just tragic shot of the little, 2 or 3-year-old just laying on the beach. Just, how do you wrap your mind around that? Anyway, he changed. Let me see if I can't figure out how to do this real quick. Go over to screen share. Start screen share again. Present to everyone. So somebody from Italy already uploaded Pride. So
Is this the Pride clip that you're doing?
Yeah. So in order for the audio to be heard, the rest of us need to stay silent for about 15 seconds. So let me turn the volume up so it can get through my speaker, and we'll just hit play, and you'll be able to hear him. He says, "A child washed up on an empty beach," or something like that. So hold on a second. Yeah. So that was it. One boy washed up on an empty beach.
Yeah.
Just, man.
Yeah, and that's just the situation coming out of Syria. So you add Northern Africa into that, and things are getting dicey very quickly over there, especially this bit in Budapest, in Hungary. So Stephen, I just noticed, he says on in our chat section that he's Irish, living in New York. So thanks for some of your comments there.
All right, so I mean, heavy stuff, and
that's what we came out of the Crystal Ball with a couple of hours ago. Crystal Ballroom, as we kind of debriefed the concert, people were catching that, and it was very heavy. You know what the first heavy moment of the concert was for me, though, and I think just showed that this was going to be a different concert and a different audience, is at the end of Sunday Bloody Sunday, when there's the huge explosion and there's the big flash of lights, and they're doing kind of the mock-up of the Dublin blast in 1974. It was tellingly different tonight, because when that explosion happened and when those lights flashed, the audience was dead quiet. And what's been happening in North America is people have been screaming. I mean, it's kind of a rock concert moment. So the lights flash and the subwoofers go off and everybody goes, woo! But tonight, I noticed in Italy, it was just kind of quiet. It was hushed. It was reverent. And I think that's the whole way that Sunday Bloody Sunday was supposed to be in the first place, kind of a funeral dirge. And I think Italy got that tonight, because they know what terrorism and they know what explosions are. And somehow Americans, we just gravitate towards the celebrity kind of component. But I mean, that's what I was picking up at that point.
Yeah, the audience, and who was it? Somebody said on Twitter, our friend Beth, and is Beth? Yes, Beth is in the chat as well, and I think it was Beth who said on Twitter, pointed out that how amazingly they were singing today from start to finish, the audience, and not just the big hits of on the North American shows that we saw. Pride and Streets and, the City of Blinding Lights, et cetera, tons of audience participation. But the new songs, I mean, my gosh, Every Breaking Wave and Song for Someone, and the crowd was just, they were fantastic today, right?
Another indicator of that for me was at that same moment when Sunday Bloody Sunday was ending up and there was the big explosion and people were quiet. What I did notice then, I was like, are they going to scream or anything? And they actually did when you heard the first few notes of Raised by Wolves, doon, 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 which told me also that they knew the song, because as soon as they heard the notes for Raised by Wolves, then they started getting vocal about it again. And I think
they started clapping along.
They did. They know this album. I agree. They were singing along with it, which is kind of exciting and encouraging. Now, these were the folks. This was like our Vancouver one, right? These are the folks who've been waiting for months, years for U2 to come back. So these were really good fans tonight. It'll be interesting to see what happens, along the way as well.
Yeah, I do have to say, though, that with it going into Streets, I couldn't get into the jubilation of Streets. After coming out of the 3 or 4 songs of basically hitting people up over the head about the refugee crisis, and to have Streets start off with "I want to run, I want to hide, I want to tear down the walls that hold me inside," all I could think of was, I got into the mind frame of the refugee, and I couldn't get into the joy of streets. Like you have these tens, hundreds of thousands of people who cannot enjoy that freedom, that they're still running, they're still hiding, that it didn't feel like a joyful streets to me.
Well, that's a great point, Sherry, because one of the things I was thinking through was that Streets originally was born out of refugee conditions. I mean, here's Bono and Ali in the mid-'80s in Ethiopia, right? And they're watching the waves of refugees come to the camp that they're volunteering in, just trying to feed these poor people out of the famine. They're just coming to escape. And that's why I thought the connection was so good tonight. But it was poignant. It was a reminder that Streets is not just about a future, dream or a future kingdom or whatever language you want to use, but Streets is born out of the pain and the desert and the wilderness and the wandering of these poor refugees in Ethiopia too. So yeah, that's a great point. It wasn't the bounce, bounce, bounce song, but I think it still stayed, really true to the original intent.
Yeah, to me, it kind of harkened back to the Sarajevo link-ups. Instead of having the live footage of what was going on in Sarajevo, because of the heaviness of what you were seeing up on the screen and the power and at times the sorrow coming out of Bono throughout that little Heart of Darkness section of the show, it changed the whole vibe. And maybe it's designed to do that to wake people up.
Yeah, I think it started with October and it moved on through Streets, and then once you get past that, we had more of the, I think then we had With or Without You and Beautiful Day and City of Blinding Lights, and on to some of the more celebrative kinds of tunes.
Yeah, I think
the solemnness of Zooropa.
Yeah, it was the most thoughtful presentation of Zooropa. I mean, Zooropa came out on the 360 tour, and I tweeted out a picture I took from Anaheim, and everybody was cheering and excited and thrilled because it felt like nostalgia. This felt like the sermon almost, of the evening. The irony of it.
So a couple things from the comments. John Bigwave says the Bullet Zooropa Streets Trinity worked on so many levels, stopped me in my tracks and broke me down.
Yeah.
Anisha said Zooropa was beautiful. We need to talk. We haven't talked about Zooropa at all, so we need to get there. And Anisha points out that the transition from Zooropa into Streets is similar to on the Zoo TV tour when they went from Running to Stand Still in the Streets, very much so.
Had the same guitar effects too.
Yeah. So Ross, you recorded. So for those who don't know, Ross may be sort of lesser known because he's not tweeting from at YouTube, those things like Crystal Ballroom.
Yay, Ross!
And he doesn't host live chats, but Ross has sort of taken charge of updating the set lists this year on our tours site. So if you're following on tours.u2.com where somebody is adding each song as they play it, that's more often than not Ross doing it. Every once in a great while it's me, and then we have 10 or 12 other people that are able to do it. But it's usually been Ross. So Ross, we need to have this discussion. Certainly less serious discussion than refugee crises and all that sort of stuff. But Zooropa, are we listing that as a full song or a snippet?
Well, you're the boss.
You're the boss.
No, I don't.
You're the Ross.
When I was updating at the time during the show, I felt it was a full song just because of the length of it. But then afterwards, you suggested it might be a snippet more along the lines of hands. And after thinking about it, I think that's what it really is. It's just, taking the place of Hands That Built America.
I disagree. It should be a full song. On the set list, it's given its own separate line. And I think with the previous set lists with Hands, wasn't there a slash after it in order to indicate that it's only a small little bit? Zooropa felt much longer to me than the Hands That Built America. And it also didn't transition as smoothly into the next song.
Ooh, I don't know. I disagree on that one. I guess we're going to have to agree to disagree on this.
We're going to flip a coin.
I think the transition was really smooth, but it was longer than Hands That Built America. For those of you that are on a laptop or desktop and have access to the right side of the screen where the chat and all is, if you get out of the chat to the main right rail there, scroll down a little bit, under where it says On Air, you'll see a little tab that says Q&A and then one that says Polls, and we have a poll question right now where that says, should Zooropa be listed as a snippet or a regular song? And right now, regular song 10 votes, snippet 1 vote. So.
Oh, I'm voting snippet right now. Boom, there.
I checked my recording after the show and see how long it was, and it was about 2.5 minutes, 2.5 45 seconds, and I looked at the Zooropa shows, and it was those were the exact same length. So. It could go either way.
How did we list it on the Zooropa tour?
I'm sorry?
How did we list it on the Zooropa tour? As a regular song?
Oh, yeah.
What did we do on 360?
Song.
Regular song. It was.
Was it all the verses? That's what I don't know actually. Was it all the verses?
Today? No.
Yeah.
No.
It wasn't because it wasn't the whole It wasn't the whole first verse of the song.
But here's my issue with it. We list as a snippet a slight reference to California, where it's only the words "There is no end to love." That's what we classify as a snippet. Yet a song that's 2.5 minutes that is a UT song is not classified as a snippet. Or you guys are classifying it as one.
There's no definition on what a snippet is. It can be anything we want it to be. So. I mean, I don't know.
Welcome to the kinds of discussions that we have on these tours, on the tours project. We have this discussion. Not a week goes by where we don't have a discussion like this, talking about how long does something have to be. Is it based on how many lyrics are sung? Whether it's
there might actually be 5 other people on the continent that care about this too, and that's exciting to think they might be here listening. Actually, it's not a huge deal to me. I'm leaning back.
All right, let me show.
I think we should have Big Wave as an independent arbitrator here.
We could do that. So let me show. As long as we're chatting about this portion of the show, let me show one other feature of this software that we're using. And it's in the right rail, and it's the Q&A button next to the polls. All right. So if everybody that's on their laptop or a desktop machine goes to the Q&A poll, you will see, now there's been several questions asked, most of which were actually just comments that should have been in the chat, so I just kind of deleted them because they're not actual questions. So there's one there that says, it's from Jeff Wilson, and he says, I know Matt thinks Streets had declined in the North American shows. Does anyone else who heard those versions and today's think the latter was 100 times better? So now you guys can all see that, and people that are watching can upvote that question. If there were like 10 questions in the queue, then whatever gets the most votes would rise to the top, and that way people that are chatting like we are chatting would know what folks want us to chat about. So what I'm going to do is to show off this feature is I'm going to click, there's a green button that only I see since I started the Hangout. It says Start Answering. I'm going to click that. You're going to see the question come up across the screen. The system will make a marker where we begin talking about it, and then when I hit the Stop Answering button, it'll make a marker for where we stopped answering this question. And then tomorrow, if somebody's watching back on this video, they can click and go straight to where this question is answered. So we'll just show off what the answer is. So I'm going to click Start Answering. Okay. So Jeff Wilson asked a question saying, I know Matt thinks Street has declined in the North American shows. Does anyone else who heard those versions and today's think the latter was 100 times better? It certainly was. I'll go first. Sherry, you kind of touched on this a little bit already. It was for me. I wasn't too fond of Streets on the North American tour just because the concert kind of came to a stop after Blinding Lights, and then there was 3 minutes of talk. And then there was, the real quiet and low-key mother and child reunion, and then all of a sudden, that's when they go into Streets, and it didn't have enough, energy and all that sort of stuff. And so it was much better for me today. I loved that whole Bullet, Europa, Streets, and I said on Twitter as it was happening, I was like, that's it, I have to go to Europe now because I got to see what this is like in person. So, Streets, for you guys, better now or better in North America?
I think it was better, but it was all about the segue into it.
I agree with Ross. I'm big time into how they get into where they're going and what's the trajectory. I really appreciate that about you too. So I wouldn't say better, just different, and I can really appreciate the differentness. I thought it was when I think of Streets tonight, the way they used it, I thought it was glaringly appropriate in ways that I never would have expected or thought, and so I loved that little trilogy that they put together, ending with Streets. It was just gorgeous, I thought. But I will agree with Sherry still that it had a different feel to it. It wasn't the party song, which I would say, again, I don't think it was intended to be a party song. I think it's taken that flavor a little bit like One was never intended to be a fun, cheery campfire song at the end of the concert. One's a pretty brutal song. But these songs, Bono says they dictate what needs to be done, and the audience and the community changes the meaning in a sense of the songs too. So I just love what they did tonight, but it's not better or worse for me.
I mean,
go ahead.
I tweeted out that I think they finally figured out how to get from Every Breaking Wave to moving Streets out of the encore into the main set. They finally figured out how to get all that to work, and I think it works 10 times better.
There is a lot that got redefined tonight, a lot more than what I was anticipating, and I think Streets took on the largest amount of redefinition. I felt heartbroken during it, and because I didn't have that bounce, that's neither good nor bad. Just like what Tim said, it's different. I don't know if I can listen to Streets the same way now.
Wow.
All right, so I'm going to click Done Answering on that question, and if anybody else, so that question now has a marker at the start and the stop. If anybody else has questions, they can certainly ask. What else did I want to bring up for the chat here? Because people in the chat are saying that there's a lot of echo, so that's something we can work on for future. I might put a headset on next time. I'm just listening on speakers, so what's coming through the speaker might be just reverting right back and going into the microphone and causing the echo.
You know what might be helpful is we go back and we look at the replay, at another time and see what actually is being.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. We did a dry run of this 3 nights or so ago. We had about 12 people on, and it went well. And this is the first one where we're actually inviting the public to tune in. So we'll keep doing it and figure things out and get better as we go.
The one other thing I'd like to say about the trilogy there that we've been wrapped up with in terms of Bullet and Zooropa and Streets. I really have always appreciated the way U2 has played with the notion of home, and they brought that back tonight. What do you want? What do you want? And the answer was a place called home, or a place to call home. Again, from the perspective of the refugees. And there was also this language of, you know, with the bullet horn, I think it was again, I'm not dangerous, I'm in danger. I need a safe home. And just through the years they've played with this idea of home. In Cedarwood Road, isn't home a place of fear? And in Walk On, home is where the herd is. And so there's always this tension that home is the place that you go to be safe, but not for everybody. Oh, same thing with Sleep Like a Baby Tonight, one of my favorite songs on the new album. It's the whole notion of, especially the alternate version, home is where the war is, right? So I really think that's a significant theme that gets played
If
as
they
well.
wanted to switch the song out for some of the nights where they have multiple nights, they could substitute a sort of homecoming.
Yeah, there's another one. Yeah.
In a very
Yep.
soft,
Yep.
softly sung way.
Yep,
Okay,
I had
so-
thought of that one too, because that is the same era as Streets. It's the Joshua, it's Unforgettable Fire, but it's that same era, and it's still that notion of home. Where is home? Where are we headed? Nope.
So in the comments, folks are discussing the best version of Streets, the best segue into Streets, and there's several comments about the Pop Mart tour, with Please in Streets being the best one. And I'd probably have to go along with that. That and Zoo TV. I thought Running Stand Still going in the Streets was phenomenal, and Please as well on Pop Mart.
The Pop Mart version of Streets had the longer Larry drum solo in the end, and that's why I liked it.
I liked Amazing Grace into Streets on 360, especially with the Soweto Gospel Choir version. The thing that they did wrong on Duels is they didn't keep those two together. They put one at the beginning of the album and one at the end of the album, and I like to put them together. I love the Amazing Grace into Streets.
Yeah, that was a favorite for me as well. Hey, we have a special guest in the chat, Cy, who happens to be the founder of Crowdcast, who I traded some email. Crowdcast is the software, the app that makes all this voting and commenting and the Q&A, all that sort of stuff. Pablo and I traded some emails with Cy over the weekend. So Cy, thank you. This is really cool, and you are enabling us. We're a U2 fan site that's been online for 20 years, and you're enabling us to. There was a concert today in Italy, and so we are now chatting about the concert, and we've got a crowd of people around the world tuning in, and they're able to have their chat, and so this is really cool. So Cy, thank you, and we hope to use this again many times in the future.
Yeah, thanks, Cy. Very cool.
Very, very cool. All right, what else do we need? We've been going for, it looks about 45 minutes or so. Should we start talking about Lizeth? By the way, Lizeth is on camera.
Hi, Lizeth.
You hear us?
You have to do this, Lizeth.
Yeah. So Lizeth can hear us, but we can't hear Lizeth.
Yeah.
Okay, that's Lizeth Meyer, who is one of our staffers based in Europe.
Hey, I want to ask a question here.
Go for it, Tim.
John was saying I was getting some echo. He thought maybe it was coming through my speakers. I put in my earbuds. John, did we clear that up at all? Are you guys, is it anything better there? And I see Sherry's got some headphones on now, so we'll try to clean that up.
Yeah, they're not as nice as the Princess Leia buns that I have in the other room, but these will do.
Okay, let me talk for 20 seconds because I don't have headphones in. Is there an echo as I am talking right now? Those of you in the chat will wait 30 seconds because I did not hear any echo anymore when Tim and Sherry were just talking. So let's see if there's any echo when I'm chatting.
Thanks, John. Okay, John says that fixed it. Nagin says it's better. Thanks, guys. We'll run with it.
All right, cool. All right, cool. So there's another question from Anisha. So let's tackle that one, shall we? All right. So Anisha asked a question saying there have been comments going around that Edge wasn't at his best tonight. What do you all think? And I'm not a guitarist, so I'd never claim to be an expert. But there were a couple of times when it noticeably something sounded off kilter to me, to my untrained ears. Solo here or there seemed to be wrong. I don't know if it was up an octave, or I don't know what it was. But I noticed a couple of times where he seemed a little bit off. But I mean, that's like complaining about the Mona Lisa, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, he wasn't the only one. Bono got the registration 1385 wrong, too. I just think that Edge had a very busy month off with his daughter getting married and all that other stuff. They're just shaking off the cobwebs. It's a typical first night thing. By, like, night 4 of the second leg, all that will be figured out.
Yeah, there was a couple transitions, like, one at the end was... little jittery there, but no, it's not. I wouldn't say in any way that it's not their best. It's just, again, different. This band knows how to play live and to be comfortable, and whatever comes out, it's almost as if it was meant to come out. And so I just enjoy. At one point, some of us had said watching this show is not watching the same show every night. It's watching It's watching, I guess, the same band but a different story every night. And so when little glitches happen in technology or instruments, or Larry starts the wrong song, as he did when I was in Boston and standing right in front of him, that's all just fun stuff. That's all part of this band. Live is where we live.
What was really cool was the Meerkat during Sunday Bloody Sunday. They kept it on for the whole song and did each individual band member throughout the whole song. So getting to hear Larry's drums so clearly for so much of the song, that was really great.
Makes me wonder if they started, Sherry, didn't I never have been able to click through to the Meerkat thing for whatever reason. I think I probably did once or twice, but for some reason it just never seems to load for me, and maybe it's my browser. Anyway. But they used to do just one song, but then towards the second half of North America, didn't they start like testing it earlier in the show and all that sort of stuff? And I just keep wondering. And then I saw what you were tweeting today about how they weren't just testing it; they seemed to be focusing on different band members and all that sort of stuff. It just makes me wonder if they're planning to sort of expand the usage of that during the show, which I think would be really, really cool if they did.
Well, there's been a few requests, and some plans may be afoot, but nobody's going to claim total knowledge of something like that. But for the testing of it, they've always tested it during Sunday Bloody Sunday, but not for the entire length of the song. And they also walked almost the entire length of that middle part of the stage for the first time. For the actual Meerkat part of the E stage tonight, I was kind of expecting it to go a little longer than it did. Maybe tomorrow night they might include October in that. I don't know.
Sherry, by the way, my heart is warmed by the fact that I can see my book on your bookshelf behind you. Thank you.
I refer to it constantly.
Oh, I'm sure you do. Every time you're chatting and the screen's on you, I'm like getting up to my camera. What book is that? Oh, there it is.
Those are the ones that I go to most often.
Yep.
These are the ones I go to every so often.
Nice.
I have an entire wall.
See, this is interesting. You should do this, because when we had you weren't able to join us a few nights ago when we did the test run, but I actually took my camera off my monitor and kind of walked around my office a little bit, and so we had the idea that we should do a segment called "Show Us Your U2 Crib," where somebody.
Oh well, here we go. Because I'm on my phone.
You could totally do it because you're mobile.
Do you want to do it right now? I'm ready.
Okay, hold on. Drum roll. We're starting a new segment. Show us your U2 crib, Sherry Lawrence.
All right, well, this is my U2 shrine room. I'm going to need to get a bigger house at some point, but this is my reference library. I'm going to have to turn this around, so I don't know how much you'll be able to see. But starting up on the top shelf, I have my squeaky nuns, my 3-inch squeaky nuns, and some other swag from other tours. I've got my little party girl thing. I've got some lemons up there. I've got all of my various different books. This is the whole propaganda library right around here. More books. This was the piece that was my housewarming gift. I absolutely love it because with the handprints, the band has had such a fingerprint on my entire family that this is the heartbeat of our main room. This is a special photo when Bono was at MIT. Our reunions photographer while I was working there was the only photographer allowed in, so he gave me that picture, which was really cool. Let's see here. Over here I have some pictures from the Vertigo tour that either I shot or Steve shot or our friend Phil Roman shot. Let's see. I need to get some better lighting. That's my problem around here. It's way too dark. But like you, Matt, I've got the Joshua Tree lithograph. I've got that's from Somerville. I don't know if you can see it too well. Pittsburgh. Vertigo tour over here. That's Steve and me in Pittsburgh. Steve and me in Boston. And then in our kitchen is pretty boring. Not a lot of U2 stuff, a lot of family and other things, which is kind of important. But then we get down to my home office, which is where all the fun begins. Let's see. This is why I need a bigger house. So over here.
Your husband is tuned in right now, so he's hearing all these mentions of needing a bigger house.
And by the way, honey, I need a new kitchen, but you know that. So these are the pictures from Larry's birthday show in Providence in 2001, where I brought a balloon that Bono used and let go of, and then it got jammed in the concert staging screens for New York. And that's what caused Dennis Sheehan to come down and scratch his head and say, I don't know what the fuck to do. But I basically was part of breaking the screen for the song New York, but that's a whole nother story. Those are pictures from the book signing with Bono and Mitchka Assayas in 2005 in Boston. That's a picture of Larry that our friend Phil Romans took. Larry signing my helmet. Adam signing my helmet. The famous thank you sign.
Sherry?
Yes.
In the comments, Joyce Smith says, please tell me there's a Pop Mart lemon.
I actually had a Pop Mart lemon, but at one of our At U2 events, we needed some swag for raffle, and I donated it. But I did have a lemon. I did have an inflatable Trabi. I had a lot of good swag, but I've been very generous in donating it at other events. So yes, I did have one of those.
That is how we roll.
So other posters, band from '79, band from 2009. I still have to do something with this. I kind of needed Bono swinging over the Pope.
I thought when we had the idea to do Show Us Your U2 Crib, I thought it might be like a 1 minute or a 2 minute segment, but I didn't expect that your house was going to be first.
I told you I needed a bigger house, so that's only a small portion. I can see I'm getting cut now, but you know,
Wow.
that is part of my U2 crib.
Sure, when did I visit? Was I there for the Vertigo tour?
You were here. You and Sean visited for the Vertigo tour. Yeah, we had just bought the house.
That's right, and that's the thing that I remember saying to people. Like most fans, like myself, have a room. You know, if you're blessed and fortunate, you can have a room dedicated to U2. and Sherry and Steve, the whole house. It's like every room in the house.
But we modeled ours after our good friends Dale and Donna. They have a whole house too.
I know, yes, I know Dale and Donna, and they do. That's true. So
all
right.
this is mild in comparison.
Okay.
Hey guys, I'm gonna say goodnight. Nice being with you.
Tim, thank you.
Spend a little time with my family.
All right, go tell Tracy and the kids we said hi.
Yep, I think we're gonna watch a movie. All right, good night, all.
Have fun, bud. See you, man.
Thanks, Sherry. Bye. Bye, Russ. Bye, Liz.
Tim.
So all right. So why don't we just wrap this up in the next 5 minutes or so? What do we expect tomorrow? I would assume we're going to get much of the same. I mean, we're going to get a few different songs, right? But the theme, I don't anticipate it's going to change whatsoever. What about you guys?
We'll definitely have a different song too. I'm sure that we'll have a set of Elevation. We'll have a different song there. But I don't see much of the rest of the show changing all that much.
Maybe New Year's Day, since they've been checking that out.
Oh, good point.
Yeah, that would be good. I could certainly. I love New Year's Day. That's one of my favorite.
I just don't know where they're going to fit it in, though.
I think it goes. I think New Year's Day goes in the same sort of position as towards the end of the second set, maybe the beginning of the encore, sort of the way they've moved Beautiful Day around a few times. I think that's, to me, what New Year's Day does. I don't think it goes as the second song in the show because it doesn't have that same, it's not a heavy, hard club guitar song like Electrico and I Will Follow and those. So I personally don't think it goes there, but maybe they'll shock me. Who knows?
Do you think that they could open up the third act with New Year's Day to talk about solidarity?
That's a pretty good idea.
Instead of Blinding Lights?
I don't see them changing it from Blinding Lights, though.
Yeah, I don't either. Huh. Yeah, we'll see. I'll be curious to see how that goes. In the comments, let's see. Beth said that Bono will refine the Bullet rant. Same as today, but no Elevation or Ordinary Love. Yeah, they'll change up those two E stage songs. That's what they typically do.
I would bet he pulls someone up tomorrow. Because he didn't really have any fan interaction today.
They just had there was just the one gal on to do the meerkat, right? But there was nobody playing instruments. Okay. All right, so a couple quick questions in the chat. Ken says, anything more to the Dublin shows rumor? Nothing at all that I have heard. And if I'd let people ask us on Twitter, have they announced, the Dublin shows? And no, and I just always, say if they had announced them, we would pass that news along. It's not like we're holding this news back for any reason. So no, nothing on Dublin. I said this on our staff email list. I would not be surprised if they announced Dublin on Monday, 3 days from now, just because they have so much. This is how they operate. It's how they've always operated, right? They have so much momentum and press attention on them right now because the tour is opening in Italy. So I think it makes sense for them to, Sunday, Monday, after these first couple shows get out of the way. I think there's a pretty good chance, and that's not based on any inside knowledge or anything, but I could see it happening Monday. I could also see it not happening until London, when they get all the London press at the show. So who knows?
Given the popularity and the size of 3 Arena being so small, I would envision them waiting until the very last minute to announce them, have the tickets available 24 hours later. There's the show.
Wow, that'd be crazy, wouldn't it? Could you imagine? Wow. Okay. And there was one, Jeff Wilson wanted to know if we were going to do U2 on Periscope Mixler tomorrow or watch college football. Well, my team doesn't play till 4:30 Pacific, so I'm going to be doing U2 stuff tomorrow, as well as cutting the lawn with my son. So that's my plans for tomorrow. Sherry, are you doing the tweeting again?
I can if you need. It's going to be such a nice day out tomorrow. Was thinking about heading over to the beach and getting a few other things done. But seeing as the show starts around 2:30, That's probably a nice point in the afternoon to take a little siesta.
All right. Well, if you're around and want to do it, go for it. If we, like I said before, if we end up not
Just
doing
as long as you're not going to fire me again for talking about how low Larry's shirt is unbuttoned,
Larry's shirt, yeah. We'll take that conversation offline.
Can we have a poll question?
We should, yes. If we do, well, we'll do this tomorrow. We'll do another one of these chats tomorrow, whether it's the three of us or Tim or Lizeth or whoever's on. At some point tomorrow after the show, I'll fire this thing up. It may not be till late. It may, who knows? But we'll do something at some point.
Yeah. Tomorrow night's poll question: should Larry's shirt be buttoned down to 3 buttons or 4?
No.
And should Sherry tweet about how low
that's
Larry's
what the
shirt
question
is?
should
That's
be
support me, girl. Support me.
Oh, too funny. All right. Well, why don't we wrap this up? Ross, thank you for being here. Ross, we should check the poll results real quick. 17 votes for regular song, 5 for snippet. I'm okay with it either way. So
okay.
Either way.
Well, I think what we should do, wait a couple shows and see how it plays out. See if they change it, like make it shorter. We'll see. We'll go from there.
All right, that works for me. All right, Sherry, thank you for joining us. I know it's late. And Steve, thank you for allowing your wife to join us.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. We will do it again soon, folks. Thanks for helping us test this and get started. We're going to do more of this kind of live stuff, whether it's live video. I think next week we're going to do our podcast live, like on Wednesday night probably, where you'll be able to listen to us record the podcast live and chat kind of like we're doing here. So we're gonna make a push towards having more live things going on like this with the podcast and with the video chats, and we'll do more live Twitter chats like we've done before. So lots of stuff going on. So adios, everyone. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you again hopefully tomorrow night. Ross, Sherry, thank you. See you guys.
Good night.
Night. Bye bye.